The advice you often hear from design experts is to infuse your personality in your home, filling it with the things you love. We want our home to tell a story. It's finding and creating that story that we want to find out more about. How do we stay true to design that is uniquely you? Well, Brittany Jepsen joins me now, and she's going to tell us how to personalize our home with our personal heritage. And this is all because you just completed this huge home renovation project. It was a big endeavor we were talking about. Tell me about kind of what drew you to that home and how you just started on this journey.
So we lived in this neighborhood, and we would walk by this house, and it was a house that really, I was really compelled to because it reminded me of my time living on the East Coast. And I noticed it was vacant, and my husband and I said, if we ever get a chance to buy it, let's buy it. And I walked in one day because I noticed the door was open, and somebody was there and said, hey, do you want to buy it? And I mean, that's the long story short, but we ended up buying this house, and it was kind of this beautiful kismet moment. And we learned from the original owners that it was modeled after a home in Nauvoo, Illinois, which is where my ancestors came from. They crossed the plains from Nauvoo, including one of my family members. Her name is Patty Sessions, who was a Mormon midwife. And it kind of had this full circle effect on me, like, wow, I can't believe these personal connections of this house. And we just moved here from Denmark. My husband's from Denmark. And so we had this crazy blank slate because we bought it in the middle of a renovation. So there was subflooring, there were no bathrooms, there was no kitchen. And so part of my job as a designer was to think, well, how do I make this mine?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times we see, oh, I could do it just like this person or do it just like this person. But here I wanted to create a home that paid homage to, you know, my ancestors from Nauvoo and also my ancestry from Scandinavia and also where my husband is from.
Yes, and we saw those before and after pictures. So stunning. But talk to us about some of the spaces in the home and how you did decide to reflect your heritage there.
Right, so starting with the kitchens, like I said, there was no kitchen when we moved in. So we put in very basic cabinets when we moved in so I could really take my time in figuring out what this kitchen needed to look like what was it saying to me. And so one of the biggest pieces of this kitchen was the refrigerator, of all things. So my really good friend is Meta Coleman, and she's an interior designer, and she gave me this idea to turn the kitchen cabinet, or turn the refrigerator into a kitchen cabinet. And that means, you know, instead of like knowing where your food is, people are oftentimes, I don't know where to go to get your food.
Yes.
And the whole idea was to turn it into a Scandinavian wedding cabinet, which was a traditional furniture piece that people would get when they were married to put their things in. And so we took a panel-ready refrigerator, and this is the clincher. The hero of my renovation is our nanny.
Oh.
I work full time, so I call her Handy Nanny Pat because I couldn't get anybody to work on this special custom piece. And she said, you know, I can figure it out.
Wow.
She'd never done anything like it before. And all of a sudden I drew out, you know, a kitchen cabinet, and she figured out how to do it. It's pretty incredible. And then we were doing all of these renovations for a home renovation TV show. And so we had limited time, we had 3 months. And so a lot of things we had to like make quick decisions about. And so we painted the cabinet green and put on really beautiful flowers on that kitchen cabinet.
Well, and I love that it isn't just part of the cabinetry. That's how my fridge is. It's the same thing. People are like, where's your fridge? But I love how you accented it with this color that is so unexpected.
Well, you can do anything you want,
yeah.
Right? I mean, that's just, the possibilities are endless. So why make it blend in when you were born
yes.
to stand out?
That's right. That's right. Now, you also did something with a bed for Jasper.
Right. So Jasper is my 5-year-old son. At the time he was 4. And in his bedroom, I really wanted to make a statement piece, and going back to our Scandinavian heritage. So back in a long time ago, when when they didn't have like central heating. They would build these niche beds that they were like custom built into a room, and with curtains to close it so you could be so cozy at night. And this is once again Pat, our handy nanny. She stepped in, she said, I can figure out how to make that. So she did.
Oh my goodness.
She's absolutely incredible. She got the bones on there, and then I designed it, but she really went to town on creating it. And my husband came in and said, we need some sort of mural in the back of it. So we added in a mural that, like this maritime, there's Jasper, my son, this maritime mural that could, you know, create a sense of wonder and imagination in a child's room. It's my favorite thing.
Let's talk about the balusters. You designed these and they were made by hand? Is that what
Okay, so the staircase, there was no staircase.
No staircase.
So I looked back again to our Scandinavian heritage, and I said, what shape could I bring that's unusual, that no one has seen before? And these are called flat sawn balusters. And my brother-in-law, he cut them out. I made this design, he cut them out. But then my friend, she's an incredible artist, Jill DeHaan, she's in New York. She designed these balusters. They're flowers. They're our birth flowers. So everybody in my family, there are, you know, personalized birth flowers, including Patty Sessions. Hers is June, mine is June.
Oh, beautiful.
So my friend Jill carved these, and between New York, she sent them back to me. And then my brother-in-law, Tanner, and my friend Quinn, they installed it.
Those are stunning and so unique, and you'll never see another one like it.
Hopefully not.
No, for sure. And that wallpaper too, very Scandinavian.
So yeah, the wallpaper is inspired by one of my favorite Swedish artists. His name is Carl Larsson. And it's you know, paying homage to the Swedish meadows and the beautiful flowers of that region.
Let's talk about that exterior that we saw with the before and after. It was beautiful with the red brick.
Absolutely.
But you're saying, again, going back to your heritage, you wanted the white.
So we lived in Denmark for the first few years of our marriage, and Paul lived there. And they often do these white exteriors with like plaster or stucco. And the exterior was totally fine before, but up close, it has these holes in it. It was like a texture that they added, so we had to fill in every single brick you see on that front facade with a filler, and then put on this like really thick plaster on top of it, and then paint over it with this masonry paint. And it looks very reminiscent of an actual Danish home. And so we were trying to bring in that vibe, and we still have a lot of work to do, but I'm really pleased with how it's going.
And that plaster look is just so old world and so warm, and I love it. I love
Me too. That's exactly what we were going for. I want you to come here and feel like you're in another country.
Yes. So let's talk to you. You brought us some little tips for just what we can do if we're wanting to kind of infuse our personality or our heritage into our homes. What are those?
Okay, your home should not look like anybody else's. Like there's only you in this world, right? Your house should not look like anyone else. We are so affected by our environments, by the things around us. Your story should be very different from everybody else's. So really try and find the things that mean something to you. Like, do you love florals? Do you love geometrics? Do you love, like, look to your family, look to your location, look to your background, look to the things you really love. I call them like the things that make your heart swell. You know, I think other people say things that spark joy, but to me it's like what really makes your heart swell, and then really go for it. So it should be different. It should be what makes your heart swell, what moves your soul, because and I think sometimes we look to things as like superficial, like, oh, don't get too attached to things. No, things are made by people. Things are, like, there's heart behind what people make. Like, artisans make beautifully designed things. They put their whole heart and soul into it. And so we should be really attracted to these things that people put their heart into.
Yes, I love that. And you already talked about taking a risk in your last one, pulling from the past. You showed all those things so beautifully in your home. We appreciate you being here. And tell us where we can find more from you. I checked out your website this morning, but where do you recommend people go?
Thehouse.larsbuilt.com, on Instagram as House Lars Built. But also, I'm going to be at Roots Tech in a couple of weeks, because this whole project was an homage to my ancestry, and there I'm doing the whole relatives around me, like, come see if we're related. So I'm gonna be there, and it's such a cool thing to see how we are connected and how we can tell our own stories.
I love it. Roots Tech next week, always online, and then we can catch that TV show if we can find it. Okay.
And with the old.
Thanks so much, Brittany.
Thank you for having me.